Yeah.
Good evening and welcome to OmniBros Live. I'm OmniDog from OmniDog's Vault, here with the incredulous Hulk. What's up, Hulk?
I can't believe we're doing a Hulk episode. That's why I'm the
Question.
incredulous Hulk. Wait, what'd you say?
Why the stoner? Why the?
No, I just felt like wearing this.
Oh.
What's up?
What up, Riley Moe?
Yeah, I'm incredulous about all of these Hulk omnibus that we've been getting, and I'm incredulous about doing a Hulk episode of this show.
Darn it. I left, okay. I left a Hulk book upstairs.
I thought we were gonna take it to my office. I was like, that's new.
So we're going to go upstairs and see my house.
I too am going
Seeing
up.
Riley's house.
Well,
We are professionals.
we know exactly what we're doing. I'm coming back for a drink.
Oh, drunk Riley?
No, I need hydrated Riley.
Oh. There's my dog.
Jess, I got to tell you about this manga I started reading.
No, you don't.
Even your dog would like it. Oh, I just tripped on my cord. Your dog would say,
Woof.
"Dad, this is a good series." I don't know if your dog calls you dad or
Daddy.
daddy.
Yeah.
I call my dog dude.
I call my dog Dog and that mutt.
I call Chewy dude. Dude, what are you doing?
Okay, we're back.
I'm still not back.
Oh, I'm back.
Well, you're back.
Back in town.
You've got
He's back.
issues.
Braggadosha. Back in town.
Where's the untimely Omar?
The untimely Omar had to help his daughter with homework for a little bit, so he'll be here soon. But this is the professional OmniBros Live. Always ready, always on time, and perfectly prepared.
Hey, I mean, we're on time.
We were on time, yeah.
I'm just getting hydrated. Hydration is key to surviving this flu season.
Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to make you seasick.
I did.
Yeah, Riley did. Riley
That
doesn't
was my
care.
intent.
Riley's one of the few people I've ever met that actually doesn't care
About,
what anybody thinks.
oh, yeah.
It's really remarkable. I think it's like one of your most admirable traits.
I'm interested in where the perception comes from, though. Like, what specific moments in my life have led you to describe me in this way?
I don't know. I just get the feeling that, if somebody has an opinion and or a disparaging comment, it just bounces right off you, and you're like, I don't care, and you really don't care. That's just the feeling I've always gotten from you, which I think is awesome. I'm always worried what people think, and I just don't think you care what people think.
I'm going to allow you to continue thinking that.
Okay. I had a quick question before we start hulking out. Young Avengers by Gillen and McKelvey. Do I need to read the Heinberg stuff first?
Well, I sure didn't.
You didn't?
No. I'm not saying that I'm proud that I didn't. I'm just saying that it
Should
just
I,
so
though?
happens that I didn't.
Should I, though?
I'm sure there's a lot of people that would say you should.
Okay.
I'm going to say that you don't. It's not required. Is
Okay.
my like that what I've learned from not having read it is that you don't need to have read it in order to enjoy the other. But I know that we're probably going to get messages from people immediately like, what the hell? Read it.
Oh, okay.
And I know that you have it because
Yeah. You
we've
talked me into it.
I didn't talk you into it because I didn't even have it. I didn't have it until like late summer when we were talking about it on one of the shows and about like buying it. And I went to eBay to immediately order a copy. And the copy that was in my cart, the cheapest copy on eBay, disappeared of one of the books.
Oh, I thought you took it from me.
No, what? Someone took it from me.
Oh, I always thought you took it from me.
No, I was buying it and it was in my cart and I was like, nice, because it was like one of the two hardcovers, like either the Young Avengers oversized hardcover or the Children's Crusade hardcover.
Right.
And as I was checking out and I pressed like check out or whatever, it wouldn't let me. It disappeared. It was like, this is no longer available. I was like, shit. So I had to go for the second most or the next cheapest, which was like $3 more or something.
Oh. I got it from a guy in the group.
Because people people like you.
I guess. Yeah. Facebook users, if you're watching us on Facebook, you can sign in and use your name because it's not showing up on the chat. You just show up as Facebook users. So we're simulcasting on Facebook and YouTube. So if you are able to and you want to, let us know who you are. There's a thing that you sign in on the Facebook stream that'll give you a name.
Now this is a first for me because I've not done one where we're on Facebook yet.
Yes, we're on Facebook. We're trying to do Twitch. Jesse, say what? It's just not showing up in the it's not showing up in the things that I can highlight on StreamYard. So I'm not sure what to do about that. Theo says I should be able to do it, but it's not there as an option. But I know we've signed up, and I know it's supposed to be an option. And this is not a case of the old man not knowing how to do the technology. It's just not an option.
You know what's an observation that I've made that has nothing to do with any of that?
Sure, go ahead.
Every time when we're talking about what show we should do, and I say we should do this, you're like, I've never read anything of that. And then I'm like, I have to tell you, Jess, this is what you've read. Because you were like, let's do X-Men. And I'm like, okay, how many times have we done shows about the X-Men? In my head, I didn't say this. And I was like, I like the idea for Hulk. Like, we've never done a show on the Hulk, and I love the character. And we do have the omnibus coming out soon for David's run.
Right.
And immediately you're like, I don't know anything about the Hulk. Like I've never read any Hulk. And I just like I'm like, well, I know for a fact that you've read Red Hulk because I made you. And I know you read She-Hulk because I remember recommending the Tamaki stuff to you and you enjoying it. And I'm pretty sure that you had read a bunch of the stuff before that for She-Hulk.
Right.
As far as Hulk, Bruce Banner goes, I want to assume that you've read some of his stuff, but I'm not 100%. But I at least know that you've read some of the outlying Hulks, plural.
Yeah, and once I started thinking about it, you're 100% right. I had read, actually, I've read Planet Hulk.
I figured as much.
Planet Hulk. The Immortal Hulk. The She-Hulk by Tamaki. You are correct.
Yep.
and I'm going over again the Dan Slott run that I loved so much. I really like that run.
Which is getting an omnibus.
Right.
I'm excited.
Which is good because I think both those collections are out of print, I think.
At least one of them is.
Yeah. And I remember as a kid reading the Lee Kirby stuff, but I mean, it was fun as a kid, but
then you have exposure to some Hulk stuff that I haven't read then. Because I haven't read the old Lee Kirby stuff. Why does Bosk have such a messed up hand? Like, how is he a bounty hunter? Look at
who's this?
Bosk from Star Wars.
He's got a messed up hand?
Well, I mean, like, this is biologically his hand.
He's only got 3 fingers.
Yeah, he's less than a Simpson character. I think he's such a cool character that didn't do anything in the movies. I think he's just a cool looking character. Like, he looks like what's underneath the human flesh masks of the members of the Illuminati.
Angel Ruiz, Tyler Blunt did find Onslaught. Thank you on his behalf. Thank you. He has found it.
So, did you read some of that classic stuff as it was coming out then? Of the
little kid, yeah.
What did you think about the character at the time?
I loved him as a little kid. I never could figure out X-Men as a little kid. I understood Hulk, never understood Thor, still don't understand the Lee Kirby Thor. Loved Spider-Man as a kid. Avengers, I wasn't real big on. They were too complicated like X-Men were. And Doctor Strange, I never read as a kid, more as a teenager. Deadpool didn't exist. And I like the Fantastic Four and Daredevil.
So what was the draw with the Hulk as a kid?
That's a good question.
And I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, what you're saying is that you were reading the Hulk by Lee and Kirby as it was being published.
It's not like I had my hands on #1.
But you read some of it as it was originally published.
Yeah.
Okay. Was he still gray at the time? Do you recall?
I think he was green at that point. I'm almost positive he was green. I was surprised to learn that he started out gray and then changed to green. So
what's the draw there? Like when you're a kid?
I think I liked the fact that the unpredictability of him.
Yeah.
Here's the untimely Omar.
Hey, now, better late than never.
It's a matter of opinion.
Is it though?
Yeah.
It is. I'm here. What's up, guys? Been a while, Riley.
I know, man. This is
the last
odd.
episode we did. We were all 6 on there, right?
Yeah, that was the last one I've done with you.
Okay, so what are we talking about tonight? We're talking about manga?
So we're talking about the new manga series that I started reading called
I am proud to get rid of you, and I will.
No, okay, so we're talking about
empty
the Hulk,
threats.
And I reminded Jess that I always have to remind him of the stuff that he's read for every character. First. Yeah. Now, secondly, I asked him about what Hulk he's read, and now I didn't know this, but Jess has revealed that he read some of the Lee Kirby stuff back when it was originally being published. So I'm interested in asking what the draw is for that character at that time for someone that young.
As a kid, I think it was the unpredictability of the character and the fact that he was, man and monster, but he had no control. And I just like that he was unpredictable as like a 9-year-old, I guess.
like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type thing.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure if he was good or bad. Even reading it, I still wasn't sure.
Which is definitely a theme that continues.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And it's definitely purposeful that, like, you have a character that the protagonist of this book is, you don't want to say he's a bad guy, but in his lack of control is, you know, has done things that wouldn't be considered good, has hurt people, has destroyed things. And so it creates that kind of dichotomy in the reader's head, especially, you know, a younger reader looking at this character for the first time. Is he the good guy or is he the bad guy? Is the military the bad guys for trying to take him out?
Yeah, I found myself rooting against the military as a kid, which was weird. But they seemed like such bad guys, but he seemed like a bad guy, but I wasn't sure if he was a bad guy. I know I was a bad kid.
And you hated the military.
In the
Got it.
comic book, I did.
You're so anti-America. It's you.
Jess with his black flag poster on the wall.
Make love, not war, man. Okay.
I had a hippie sister, and I inherited a bunch of stuff from her to decorate my room. It was very psychedelic when I was 10.
I will say that I was blessed enough to have had Bill Mantlo and Peter David writing stuff when I was a kid. So going into the comic book stores, like especially the late 80s, like 88, 89, I was drawn to art. That's when I was like that was when I knew that I was going to be okay reading comic books based on artwork alone, not just a good story. And one of the things that drew my eyes was it was a Sam Keith cover during Peter David's run, and then some Mignola stuff from Bill Mantlo's run. So that's how I got hooked on Hulk, because Peter David was a huge game changer, because I had read some of the earlier stuff, and when Peter David came on board, he did so many things that were different with that character. It was crazy. Like,
I can't wait to get my hands on that Omni.
dude, I have such a sad story about that omnibus. Like, it's very special to me.
Out.
Huh?
It's not coming out.
No. It's a personal story. I was supposed to get it 2 months ago to do an overview of it, and FedEx lost my package, right? So David was like, man, I'm so sorry. That sucks. We'll wait till he comes back in. And they kept canceling, like, the order from the warehouse or something, but it's finally going to come in. So hopefully it'll come in sometime, but I'm going to be on vacation. So he's like, you'll get it. And I'm like, you don't understand. I've been waiting for this for, like, it's one of my most wanted Omnis of all time. And we're going to get it. And I will tell you guys this, that I think my money is that we will have 2 volumes this year, because I think pre-sales of that omnibus alone, the first volume of the Peter David omnibus, were solid. So much so that I think Marvel's going to go ahead and greenlight the second omnibus. And that would be awesome.
Bold prediction for somebody whose FedEx package actually went to
got lost in the mail. Damn it. So I've been waiting for it. Like, he sent me a picture of the cover. So the cover has been recolored for the 345 when he's coming out. It's like a red background and stuff, or orange. But anyway, man, it was such a, like, he did so much with that character. You know, he introduced Mr. Fix-It, then he introduced the whole concept of Maestro, Hulk, Gray Hulk, Green Hulk, Smart Hulk. Like, I mean, some of these things had been done before, but how do I put it? It's like Mark Waid's run on Flash, taking some of this mythos, and then Jeff Johns coming in and building off of that and just perfecting it. And that's the way I feel about Peter David's run on Hulk, without spoilers, because I know you all haven't read it, but you need to.
Yeah, mine got destroyed in the flood.
And then you'll fall in love with the supporting cast too. Like, that's part of the thing about the Hulk, is supporting, like, the supporting cast members. At least in Peter David's run.
I feel like that persists also going forward, because a lot of Greg Pak's run, you got to meet a lot of new characters in Planet Hulk. He lent focus to Hercules and Amadeus Cho, which led into the whole Hercules series. And then he winds up using Cho as the totally awesome Hulk, and he had his own supporting cast. So it's definitely something that going forward still maintained a level of importance with some of the bigger runs.
Here is a good question from Chat Omnidog. So do you think that Chat Omnidog has never been into the Hulk? So he says, do you think the Peter David Omni will make me fall in love with the Hulk?
I think it will. It will take a like. Let me see. By the time you get to,
What's that on your wrist?
it's just a little wristband thing because I hurt my wrist.
Your wrist motor broke?
By the time you get to this issues, which will be about, I want to say 10 issues into the Hulk Omnibus, it's epic. Like when you get to Ground Zero, it's so good. You got Todd McFarlane on artwork. Oh my God. Yeah. I think falling in love though, that will happen right around issue 350, 355. That's when I fell in love with it. Everybody's different. Guaranteed, you won't be disappointed. It's a great read.
I can't
Great
wait.
Pack borrows heavily from it. A little bit of Bruce Jones. He borrowed some from it. Maybe a little Al Ewing, but yeah, Peter David. That's where it's at.
Excellent.
One of the best Marvel runs, not just Hulk runs, in history. Finally getting its due rights and getting an omnibus format.
Lost to the flood.
Yeah, so if you're into art, you got Sam Keith, you've got Todd McFarlane, you've got Eric Larson, eventually Del Keon takes over the book, Gary Frank, all these big names.
Was Gary Frank a big name back then?
I always liked his art, and I couldn't have been the only teenager that liked his art, so yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
So what's been your favorite Hulk run, Jess, that you've read so far?
Well, I liked all the Red Hulk books that was a recommendation, especially Red She-Hulk.
Not the Jeff Hulk stuff or Jeff Loeb stuff. The
Jeff Parker.
The Jeff Parker stuff is what you liked.
Correct. That led into the Red She-Hulk. That whole chunk of skinny omnis that are mildly out of print, or they could be way out of print by this time.
I hope they do some kind of complete collection or a second omnibus. That would be awesome because those are really underrated. Great artist.
Yeah.
Great artist.
But I think my favorite book is Planet Hulk.
Mm-hmm. This is a solid one.
I just love the whole concept of the Illuminati shooting him into space to get rid of him and then him conquering the planet.
Well, and that's a good book because you don't have to know anything about the Hulk.
Right.
Right? It's like from the beginning, even though it ties into the Illuminati stuff that I really didn't dig, but it's like, oh, Hulk's done a bunch of crap. We're shooting him off to space, right? And that's all you really need to know. I mean, based on the movies and whatever, and yeah, it's a great one, man.
Yeah, I would say that it is my definite favorite.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what you end up, how you feel about the Peter David run. Have you read any of the Bruce Jones run or the Al Ewing Immortal Hulk?
I have read Immortal Hulk.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I love it. I love it so much I wanted to continue reading it digitally because this ends at number 10, I think.
Mm-hmm. Second one, I think, drops in May, right? Is that when it
right,
drops?
but I just wanted to buy the issues on Comixology and start read because all the back issues were available and there was a lot of them. So
how cool is it that book ties into the Bill Bixby show, right?
I do love that part.
I love that, dude. Like that because I remember when I was a kid, that intro used to scare the shit out of me, and I would hide behind the bed because when he, seeing this man turn into this is in CG, right? This is a dude that's spray painted, like a bodybuilder. And it scared me as a 3-year-old kid. I would hide behind the bed. My mom and dad were like, why does he love this show? Because all he does is go hide behind the bed until David Banner, not Bruce, right, comes back out into the screen. So like the guy that's chasing him, they use a female character in this. It's great. It's a great run.
I really.
What about you, Riley? What's your favorite Hulk run?
Dude, I don't even know. Like, I I fell in love with the Hulk late. I was one of those people who I just thought he seemed like such a boring character, like a one-dimensional character. And I think that's an easy thing to think before actually reading or really experiencing the character. And one of my friends, when we were in college, I think, was like, no, dude, trust me, you have to read Planet Hulk. I was like, okay, cool. Well, he gave me a copy for my birthday. He gave me a copy of Planet Hulk, and then he gave me a copy of World War Hulk. And I read those, and immediately I was like, okay, I need more Hulk. So I went from there and just expanded forward and backward. And so I remember I read the rest of what Greg Pak had been doing. And I caught up with that. And then I went backwards and I read Bruce Jones's work. And I know that Bruce Jones gets a lot of flack for his run, but I loved it. Especially the first part of it, I thought was fantastic. That kind of intrigue that it has, it treats it more like, it was almost like a mystery, type of story. And I thought it was so good. And the artwork that John Romita Jr.'s work in that was really great, in my opinion. It was just so fantastic. And the thing that I got the most out of reading all these different Hulk stories was how diverse of a character he can be, because every creator has a voice that is very individual for him, but it's also one that works because of the idea of this almost personality disorder. And it's something where, you can say, like you said, Peter David created Joe Fixit. It's another personality. It's another version of the Hulk. It's not a wrong version of the Hulk. It's not wrong for him to have that personality. So it's not wrong for any creator to be like, oh, well, the Hulk now is called Doc Green and he's an evil genius. And the Hulk becomes Maestro and the Hulk becomes whatever. Like, no one's wrong, and they're all different, valid versions of this character. And that's one of the most fascinating things that I think about. And that, I think, is why it's so hard for me to choose one singular run that I would consider my absolute favorite Hulk run, is because I get so much enjoyment, even out of the lesser runs, like, of just seeing what different characters or creators come up with. And it makes me excited. But I guess if I had to give credit to one, it would be Greg Pak, because he was the one that broke me.
Gotcha. Did you ever read the I know you got the trade paperbacks, because you and I talked about it, like, after I sold them, because I'm like, they're gonna get made into epics. I might as well sell these while they're hot. The Bill Mantlo collections. Did you ever get a chance to read those?
I only just bought them over the summer.
Okay.
So that means that they're in line to be read in about 2025.
2025. Okay.
Okay.
Not the dissolutional pile. Got it.
Yeah.
That run to me is. There's a lot of people that hate it. There's a lot of people that love it. I love that run. Like, there's some really good stuff on there. Like, I think I want to say, like, Roger Stern preceded him on that book, and he had done some of his own world building. But, like, or was it Lane Wayne? Who was it that left? Lane Wayne. Yeah, you know who I mean. Who was it that? Anyway, he had all these plot lines that he had to, like, tie up. So it's pretty interesting what he does, and then he kind of builds his own thing, like, especially with what's her face, Jarella, the green girl. But anyway, like, that's a really good run that I don't hear a lot of people talk about.
You're so Hispanic, dude.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
You said Jarella and Maestro.
Maestro. I'm sorry, I
Like
roll
he's
my R's.
He's a teacher or something.
One of the things that I remember that I wanted as a kid was like, not as a kid, but probably my teenage years. I was like, wouldn't it be so badass if Alan Moore got a hold of this character? Like what he could do to like deconstruct this character
Wow.
and make him his own little thing, kind of like what he did with like Swamp Thing. Just reinvent the Hulk. That would have been really awesome. Back in his Alan Moore heydays, of course.
I feel like the closest comparable thing is probably what Ewing is doing with him now.
Yeah, I haven't read issue 25 yet, so I'm like on issue 21. I think is the last one I read.
But if you when you say it in the context of like make it like you said, make it like his Swamp Thing, there's a lot of parallels, I think, in the way that Moore wrote Swamp Thing and Ewing writes the Hulk. And that issue in particular, issue 25, kind of reminds me of some beats that Moore takes in just making, like you said, making him his own thing, making him his own and doing his own thing with it. And it goes along with what I was saying, like no creator's wrong. Like everyone does their own thing and it's all valid. But I've never thought about it that way until you just said that, and now my mind is blown. And you didn't even mean to do that, so thank you.
What'd I do?
You blew my mind.
Blew his mind.
I blew my own. I blew myself.
I forgot to mention at the top of the show. Now that comment reminds me, we have a sponsor.
Oh yeah, where can we buy tons of Hulk books from?
Best segue ever.
Our sponsor is InStockTrades.com, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add 2% to that. There's always an OmniBros code, OmniBros live code every quarter. If you're smart enough to order $50 or more worth of books in the US, you get free shipping.
If you got the money, not smart enough.
What's that?
I said if you also have the money to do it.
Hey,
not everybody has 50 bucks.
Disrupting the flow of my promo.
Sorry, this is why I don't get on the show.
No fun allowed.
Fantastic packaging and the best customer service on the planet. That's InStockTrades.com. There we go. That's our sponsor. We love them. And they tolerate us.
So you know what I really like have a soft spot for with the Hulk, though, that I think a lot of people get annoyed with, is how many like spin-off characters, like gamma characters there are.
Oh, right.
There's so many of them, but it's like it's always amusing to me when they introduce a new one and I'm like, okay, what's this A-bomb fella they got here?
Wait, you went back to the Jeff keep calling him Jeff Hulk. Jeff Loeb run. I haven't even been drinking. I'm just on pain meds.
Same thing.
Probably. Yes, I do like one of my favorite characters is Doc
Samson.
Yeah. One of the greatest characters that like Peter David tweaked enough to make him just so awesome.
Oh yeah.
And so much so that, he's like constantly in the Marvel universe.
And he used him in X Factor as well. One
of the best issues, right? 87. Oh, he used him twice. He came back for round 2 later on.
Yeah, so that one's a character I really enjoy, but I feel like I don't get enough of him because there's only been, I did some research over the summer when I was doing my Hulk buy. There's been 2 miniseries of Doc Samson, neither of which has ever been collected. I think one of them was written by Dan Slott.
Really? He wrote a Doc Samson series?
I'm pretty sure. Let's see. I
believe you. I just didn't know.
I think it was called Samson.
Yeah. Was it part of the Max line?
Or... I'm not sure. If my computer were faster, this would be great.
Who's your favorite Hulk artist? While we wait on your either one of you, who is the definitive Hulk artist for you? And the chat.
For me, it's got to be Kirby, since that's what I grew up on, and I'm such a Silver Age dork.
You know, a lot of his monsters remind me of Hulk.
Yeah.
Like every monster that he draws has that square jaw like Hulk. So I think that's pretty cool. That's a good choice. Old school, man. I like that.
So it was part of the Edge line, and it was Doc Samson.
Oh, we're talking about
by
that again.
Dan Slott. I'm sorry, Doc Samson by Dan Slott. It was part of the Edge line that Marvel had,
Mhm.
and then Volume 2, the second miniseries, was from 2006 by Paul DiFilippo, and that one was also just called Doc Samson. I think who's the artist on the first one? Ken Lashley did the art on the first one with Dan Slott.
I love that guy's art. He's slow, but he's a good artist.
Yeah, when he was on X-Men
Excalibur?
remember Greg fucking the one I hate. Greg
fucking the one I hate. That is a long
Greg
name.
Land. Greg Land was doing the Uncanny X-Men with Cullen Bunn, and it would switch between him and Ken Lashley or
Yeah,
whatever.
because he can't keep a monthly schedule. That makes sense.
And every
For some
time
reason, he can.
when it switched, I was so happy because his artwork was so good. It carried that series like phenomenally. And then it would switch back to Greg Land. I was like, fuck.
That's what I was laughing at.
I know. That's why I put
Wait,
it
can you go back to Mr. Awesome for a second? All right, you get a pass because of that avatar you're using there. I don't even know. Who is that? Captain Marvel? Nope. Sophie Turner? Anybody? You guys know?
Mr. Awesome, who is that? You've told us before. It's
Yeah, I can see Jess Googling that. Who is that really quick?
He's told us before.
All right. What about you? Riley?
You know
Who's
what?
your definitive Hulk artist, man?
You know who I think, and this is going to be more modern, but who really captures the Hulk well
Greg Land?
No, fuck off. Was Ed McGuinness.
Oh, okay.
I think that
You're going back to Jeff Hulk's run. Jeff Hulk. I'm gonna rename him Jeff Hulk.
As ungreat as the writing in that run was, the artwork was phenomenal. I think that Ed McGuinness is such a great artist for the Hulk. He has that very fun, bombastic style that works well for that character.
Yeah.
He draws him so well. And this is the series where we had so many Hulk. I mean, they literally had the World War Hulks, Follow the Hulks storyline. And it was like, there's Hulk, Red Hulk, She-Hulk, Red She-Hulk, other She-Hulk, A-Bomb, freaking like 15 other, Doc Samson, another Gamma guy that you've never heard of. And there's so many of them, and he gets to draw all of them. And then I don't remember if he did the artwork for any of the Hulked Out Heroes stuff, but there was like Spider Hulk, Captain America Hulk.
What?
Like, yeah, this was some shit that happened like around the time of Jeff Hulk's run.
There's 3 She-Hulks?
Yeah, Lyra.
What color is she?
The daughter of Thundra. Hold up. I've got...
All right. So I haven't heard a single thing you're saying because I was looking up Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to watch wrestling.
I know. That's
Apparently. It's just like comics.
Lyra was Thundra's daughter.
The Savage She-Hulk.
All new Savage She-Hulk. And then here's another...
Oh, yes. So you're talking about all the hulked out people?
Yeah, so I was saying like that McGuinness got such a great opportunity to draw all of these different Hulks. Even Scar. This is the often
Wait a minute. Where is that character these days?
Scar?
Yes.
Dude, I don't fucking know. I know he was part of one of the Dark Avengers teams.
Yeah?
I think it was whenever Bendis was doing New Avengers Volume 2, and there was the new Dark Avengers. But I don't remember where he went after that, but we haven't seen him. And you know what? I think it's because of Doc Green during the Jerry Dugan run. I think he might have been responsible for that. I'd have to go back. Like now I'm forgetting stuff. And there's probably someone out there with a better memory than me who remembers this stuff. If I could reach, I'd just grab it off of my shelf, but I can't reach it anymore. I guess I'll go walk back to the other side of my chair.
All right, Becky Lynch. Got it.
You're still on Becky Lynch.
Well, it's like a rabbit hole. I started looking up Becky Lynch, and then I saw all these different wrestling matches she was on. So I was like, "Who's that girl?" I like their outfits. What was the question?
What you asked? What happened to Scar?
Scar. I'm the one that. Damn, that hurt. I'm the one that asked the question. Yeah, because I haven't seen him since. Well, Greg Pak moved away from that stuff, but yeah, because I really like. I really like that time in Hulk, man, when it was all those characters. Like during you had Incredible Hercules. He had such a good cast.
Here's a good question from Taylor Brown. What do you guys think about the Jason Aaron Hulk run? I've heard very mixed things, but I love Aaron. I have those books, but I haven't read them, so I'm gonna have to.
I've read them, and I can't even remember other than the artwork by Silvestri, and he didn't even get to finish his run.
Okay, so there's an issue in this series where the Hulk fights a Russian space bear. And that's basically all you need.
Oh, that's awesome. There's a good question up here. I just saw it catching up. Omar, Hulk trivia question. What character gave Stan Lee the idea to create the Hulk? Was it a character? I know there's difference. I want to say, is that a Mallrats joke or is that real? I can't remember. Wasn't it like he saw somebody? Oh my gosh, it was something weird. Like he saw somebody using adrenaline to lift the car off of their kid or something. I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting my stories mixed up.
They want to know who the wrestler was that I met at Baltimore.
I was with you. Who'd you meet?
Yeah, she was at Third Eye Comics, and I took a picture with her, and her name's in the picture. So I'll go to my photos and figure it out while you guys are talking about Jeff Hulk. Wait, here it is. Ooh, there's me as Wonder Woman. Yeah. Wow.
Hey, Jess, we can't see your pictures.
I know. I'm looking.
I feel like that scene in Home Alone, Buzz's girlfriend. Woof.
It was inspired by Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I thought that might be the easy route. I really want to say I thought it was something like it was something that he saw.
That's what I had said earlier, was comparing it to Jekyll and Hyde.
I mean, I think a lot of people have. I mean,
Jess was. I mean, it's the obvious
Here's
comparison.
the girl I met.
You have no idea who that is. You're like, can I get a picture?
You said her name's on there, yeah?
Let me blow it up.
Okay, yeah. So who was it?
Mankind?
Kelly Klein.
You meant Mick Foley?
No, and this picture does not do her justice.
But back to answering Omar's question, yeah, so back during Jerry Dugan's run on the Hulk adjective list, which is collected in this complete collection, Hulk by Mark Waid and Jerry Dugan, the plot involves Doc Green, who's Hulk's new personality. He wants to rid basically the world of all other Gamma beings, and so he fights one by one each other Hulk. And one of the Hulks that he fights kind of earlier in this arc is his own son. He fights Scar and depowers him and tells Scar that the depowering is permanent. So I believe
that's what happened to Scar?
Basically,
he got killed by Dr. Green?
He not killed, he just is human now.
That's your son, man.
Not Doc Green's son. He was the son of the Green Scar.
Oh God. Okay. I lost you there for a second.
Because that's what they called him, remember?
So your favorite artist is Ed McGuinness. Yours is Jack Kirby. Very similar. Ed McGuinness has that action square jaw superhero
Yeah.
art to all his characters too. Mine would be I think Del Keown. I love his artwork. Like he blew me away. He started off like he was obviously a John Byrne artist. Like he channeled John Byrne in his art. And then later on he kind of developed his own thing, and Image was like, "Hey, let's take that guy." And he made Hulk for Image but called him Pitt. And but he's come back from time to time. Like he did Hulk the End is one of my favorite books, and he did that with Peter David. That's one of the best Hulk stories ever.
I love
right up there with
cheating with Kelly Klein. Please keep it up.
what happened?
The chat's thinking that I had an affair with Kelly Klein. Follow that.
Oh yeah, let's start that rumor.
Yeah, please do.
We need the followers, so that would be good.
Yeah, wrestling followers.
Then you guys can have Wrestling Wednesdays and Thursday manga, whatever. We get Trigonosis on here. I think he's a wrestling guy.
Oh, he's a big wrestling guy.
Who's another wrestling guy? There's another wrestling guy in the chat. Is it Lionheart?
Mr. Awesome is because he's got Becky Klein or whatever her name is. Becky
Cloonan.
No, what's the who'd you lose focus chasing down? What's her name? The wrestling chick?
I don't know. She's saved under my history though. Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch.
I like it.
No, Kelly Klein's who I met and had the affair with. Right. Because I showed her.
Thank you for Jelly. It was. You big nerd. What is that?
I gave it to myself for Christmas.
Of course you did, you big child. That's awesome.
Wait, it does. It has a super great sound effect when you hold them down.
You like that, Jess? Do you feel like that gives you powers?
I just got rid of half the universe.
Good. We're still here. Oh, wait. Let me check on my wife.
I just got rid of your kids. You want them back?
That's not funny.
You want them back?
What are you, social services?
I'll bring them back.
They look like porn stars. Yeah, they know their target audience for Jelly. So,
I have no idea why I bought that, but it was half price, so I had to.
I'll be buying it from you in a month when you do the purge again. Should have bought that Vin Omnibus from you.
Yeah, is that thing out of print now or something?
It's getting there. Yeah,
out of stock, I think.
Low print run.
You'll be seeing that in liquidation sales everywhere you go.
It's low print run.
Yeah. Until it's gonna go down to like $30, and then all of a sudden it's gonna shoot up to like 200.
Right.
Ooh.
And people are gonna be like, "Shit, I didn't want these crappy Venom comics, but god damn it, now I do."
Oh, there's a good suggestion.
I agree with this suggestion.
Yes.
I wish I had the power. I wish.
Shane D has a question about Alien, Prometheus, Predator, Firestone, Life, Death.
Who puts those out? Is that Black
That's
Horse?
Dark Horse.
Black Horse.
Yeah, sure. Black Horse, whatever.
Dark Horse.
I'm going to say that the chances of those getting reprinted are about the same as the chances of the BPRD hardcovers getting reprinted. So slim. Just because the sales weren't that great to begin with, and it cost them so much money to get them, even though all they're really doing, right, is sending a file over to their printers. But they do outsource their stuff, so it's a little more for them to get that stuff printed out. And since they didn't sell that well, they probably don't see that it's not worth reprinting. I like to talk to Dark Horse. Like, they send me review books and stuff, but their PR is a little bit different than like the relationship I have with Marvel. Like, there's no connection there, because I like to know, like, hey, some of this stuff could sell now. You haven't, like, a lot of the books that went out of print was like 10 years ago. We've got a lot more collectors. There's a whole Facebook group with almost 5,000 people that are willing to buy these hardcovers. things like that. I don't think they know. So
Can you tell these people that you don't know that they need to reprint Drifters Volume 2?
the manga,
Yeah.
they're gonna be like, "What? Oh, thanks, man.
Thanks, Shane.
Thank you, Shane.
Who answered this question? Was that you, Jess?
No, you just answered it.
All right, I'll be taking that. You can PayPal me a little bit later.
You can bet I won't.
Yeah,
Bet I know you won't. You ain't PayPal me for a long time. Oh look, it's Gabe. He's here to talk. Hear all the manga talk.
Yeah, that's not happening.
He just mentioned Drifters, and you totally didn't know that was a manga.
I was looking at my Iron Man gauntlet.
I feel like Drifters and Hellsing would be the type of thing that Jess would really dig, though. Like, Hellsing has some assets that Jess would really like.
Oh, you're talking about a word I know. Waifu.
Waifu. How does he know? What have you all taught him? I love that he knows all these nonsense words, but he hasn't read manga.
Yelling at us, calling us fucking weebs.
Right. Like he knows all this stuff, but he hasn't read like actual manga. So yeah, Hulk has become one of my favorite characters. Like, and he has been for a long time. I'll follow him even through the worst of years, which he's had his ups and downs.
Now, how do you feel about She-Hulk? We've talked about.
I'll tell you what I tell my wife, Jess. You can't start asking me how I feel about something. You have to ask, what do I think about this? How do I feel about the color in the bathroom? I don't care. What do you think about the color in the bathroom? Oh, yeah, solid. Keep it.
Riley, how do you feel about She-Hulk?
Enamored.
Okay.
That's a feeling. That
I love Sensational She-Hulk.
So
it is one of the best runs, and then we're getting an omnibus.
That's this run, right?
No.
What? Yes, it is.
No, Sensational She-Hulk is the John Byrne stuff.
Run. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now that I haven't read.
But we're getting both of those.
And we're getting that. Mm-hmm.
We're getting 2 She-Hulk Omnis.
The best part about this is that they had no idea that anything was going to be announced, like a TV show was going to be announced, when they announced the She-Hulk
Burn,
right?
Yeah.
Like about a week or so goes by, that gets announced, and Dan Slott happened to be walking by David's office, and David's like, "Hey, we haven't done an omnibus of your She-Hulk, have we?" And Slott was like, "No." Cool, we're gonna do that because they just announced a TV show. So I was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" Like, it's amazing how these things just happen. Like somebody just happens to be walking across the office. So maybe one day, maybe Niciesa will be walking across David's office with a copy of New Warriors Omnibus Volume 1. Hint, hint. Get that Volume 2 going.
Let's talk to Fabian again. Talk to him and be like, "Can you do this for us?"
Okay, can we get Becky Lynch to play She-Hulk, though? I don't know if she can act.
Oh, Becky Lynch.
Oh, no, she'd be a good, what's her name? Thundra.
Lyra? Yeah. I was literally thinking that before you said it.
Were you? Okay, I'm going to cast them off of these wrestlers I know nothing about.
Just tell David he's got enough pull, right?
Yeah. He is really good friends with Jeff Loeb, though. Like, they're really close. Who would make a good She-Hulk?
I saw.
You think they'll CG it?
I saw people casting Rosario Dawson before, and that looked nice. Gina
Carano, right?
Yeah, she'd be good.
Man, she is.
She's hot right now too because of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So that
she's hot. Period.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not
talking appearance wise.
That's HAWT.
Attention wise. She's hot right now.
Hot attention wise. That's what you mean. Yeah.
Yes. People are paying attention more so to her at the moment due to her continued role, a recurring role in Mandalorian. And I think with that, it's made her.
She's gotten a lot better at acting than her days in Fast and the Furious. Right.
Dude, don't talk shit about any of the Fast and Furiouses. I will hunt you down.
Why, dude?
Because I learned so much about family and friends and fast cars through those movies.
Were you an orphan? Did you not have like a real family?
I can learn more about family from Vin
All right.
Diesel
You know
and
what,
Paul
man? I'm
Walker.
not
Rest in
knocking it.
peace.
I love.
Rest in peace, Paul Walker.
Okay, right. I can't say anything. So
No, I have like a stupid love for those movies. Like I know that they're just not great, but
Never seen him.
I can't not want to watch them. Jess, I highly recommend them. And if you want to just go for ridiculousness, balls to the wall, just start at 4.
is that when it gets
Like that's when it starts. I
becomes
think that's the
nonsense?
one where the climax has them with a safe that they chain to the back of a truck or something,
Shut up! Are you
and they
serious?
pull the safe out of a wall, and they're literally like driving around with this safe, like huge, like room-sized safe being dragged behind them, and they're almost using it like it's a flail. Like they're switching lanes, and it throws the safe into another lane. And then, of course, you have stunts like cars parachuting out of the back of a jet or something, and people doing crazy shit. And then The Rock is in like 3 or 4 of them.
What's the one where a car goes from like one building into another building and lands safely?
6
You
or
know what?
7? Why do I know this?
I'm not gonna tell you. You can just start watching them and you'll find out. And eventually you'll be like, "Oh man, it was this one." I'm so glad that Riley told me to. This is like a movie recommendation.
Lou is supposed to have sent those to me for over a year now.
Dude, my wife got the DVD complete collection as a gag gift, so you can have those. I just found it really weird. Like I went to see the first one with my cousins when it first came out, and I was like, and they were all like, they're all car guys. I'm a comic guy, so I'm like, oh, I mean, and you can be both. But I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. Not for me though. And then I went to see 7 with one of them. And he's like, how about for old time's sakes? And I was so confused. I'm like, when did these car hijackers become superheroes? Why are they going and parachuting off of airplanes? This is so weird.
Dude, it's great.
Here's a good question about the Hulk.
Oh, because it's actually John Byrne centric. So those issues that are not written by John Byrne, they're written by I want to say Louise Simonson, Steve Gerber,
There's a
even
lot of writers.
Peter David wrote some. But the cool thing is, as you're reading it, you're not gonna notice because when John Byrne comes back, he does a very John Byrne thing, and he was like, yeah, none of that shit matters. I'm gonna go back and tell the story I was telling in issue 8. So like everything that happened in between those issues, and I'm sure they'll be collected some other way. You're not missing out anything. Nothing that changed the character, will affect issue 30 when John Byrne comes back. There were some pretty good issues. Chad Omnidog was asking.
Now, what? Speaking of Hulk adjacent characters, I know what I think, and I know what Jess thinks. But Omar, what about your opinion of the Red Hulk?
I really enjoyed the artwork in Jeff Hulk's run. I thought it was really, really. I was so excited when Jeff Loeb came back to Marvel, right? Because he had just gotten done with. He had just gotten done. That made me sound ignorant. I think it does. He had just finished writing like Batman Hush, right? So he was hot off of that. Then he did Superman, Batman, and that was okay. It was hit and miss. But he started. I was like, oh man, he's coming back to Marvel, and he did Ultimates 3, and I was like, well, maybe he's going through a bad phase in his life. And then he wrote Hulk, and he was, because I mean some horrible tragic things happened to him.
Oh shit!
Yeah, like
I'm laughing at.
Well, his son died of cancer. His 17-year-old son died of cancer.
Right.
So like he had these horrific things happen to him. I didn't know at the time.
Sorry.
I don't think most of us did until like a couple of months later when it all came out. And then when he came and did Hulk, I was so excited. I'm like, well, it's a new time for Hulk. I love Greg Pak's run. Let's see what Jeff Loeb's going to bring. And I remember like Hulk having a big gun and shooting Abomination to death. And I was so confused. And then by the time of the revelation of who Red Hulk was, I'm like, oh man, I don't think Jeff Loeb thought about this one. I think he was just winging it. And but Jeff Parker, his run, and You know, and Jeff Loeb's run, honestly, it's like a summer. You know what? It's Fast and the Furious. It's
I
the
was gonna
Fast
say
and
the
the
same
Furious
thing.
of Hulk stories.
I was gonna say the same
Where
thing.
you-
I was waiting for you to stop saying anything, and I was gonna be like, so it's basically Fast and the Furious
it's
for Hulk.
Fast and the Furious Hulk.
It's just ridiculous. You sit there and you're like, why
You-
is this?
Yeah,
Why does
but you're
that?
still having fun, right?
Because
I
there's
guess.
literally like he builds up this Red Hulk character as like the Hulk stronger version, and like he can do everything greater than the Hulk can, and he freaking like goes through a gauntlet of all of the strongest
Gauntlet,
characters
okay.
of he fights this gauntlet of the strongest characters in the Marvel universe and like knocks out Thor. He punches the Watcher in the face, like just ridiculous levels of strength for this character. And that's the only idea. That's all that he has is just this character's too strong. And then eventually he reveals who he is, and like Omar said, he might have not even been thinking about it the whole time. It might have just been,
No.
I think that he basically, if I was to imagine it, he probably had like on a board, like a cork board, like the names of like 4 or 5 different people, and he was like, which one of these people would be the Red Hulk, and then just dart, boop, and he chose Thunderbolt. But then, like you were saying, Parker comes along and continues with Jeff Hulk and makes him his
That's the thing now.
story. Yeah, Red Hulk is now Jeff Hulk. So
Okay.
he turns Jeff Hulk into something that's actually incredibly interesting and with an
And
endearing story
So
where
sad that they didn't really sell, right?
yeah, it sucks because it's
Jeff
so
Loeb walked
good.
away from the book and Ed McGuinness walked away, so people stopped buying it.
But
was
then you
good.
get
I loved
Jeff
it.
Parker, who was and still is like Jeff Parker is just this unsung writer
Yeah.
that like has done so much great stuff, but still has not gotten that A-lister
Yeah, it's taken like
credibility.
Al Ewing a long time too to
And
build up
he's
that
finally
credibility.
getting that, but Parker never
Parker-
got it.
Like I think I love Agents of Atlas, but
Yes.
I really thought, nobody else is going to read that stuff. But I
Yeah.
really thought that was it X-Men was it First Class that he did,
Uh-huh.
right? I was like, okay, this is going to put his name on a map. Like this is going to be the story.
Well, he
that-
had such a great run on Thunderbolts too, and it's just he got relegated to like side stories and B series, and that's the problem.
Yeah, and that really sucked because he was, and I know I wasn't the only one. It was just at the time. I think it was at a bad time, right? Avengers was hot, Bendis was hot, Bendis's friends were hot. So that's the like that's what Marvel was putting their money on.
Yeah.
And people like Jeff Parker kind of got. Yeah, why don't you do the B story of this Marvel Comics Presents, Man Thing?
But he
or
does
whatever.
such an interesting job with this Jeff Hulk in that
Yeah.
he makes, because by the end of Jeff Hulk run number 1, it's like you have this character who can't be himself anymore. Like he set himself up for failure. He set himself up to where he becomes what he hates. And then
This is
Parker,
Ross.
this is, yeah. And Parker was the one that really like hammered that in and sent that home with us. And that's where I really loved the series. Like Loeb created something maybe inadvertently that became something in the hands of Parker that I think was just beautiful. This beautiful idea of like the character whom, and going back to the earlier discussion where you're like, is the military good or bad? This character who, just like the Hulk, you don't know if he's the good or the bad guy. And he's forced into being the role of his nemesis, basically, because of what happens at the end of Loeb's run. He can no longer be Thunderbolt. He can't be himself anymore. He's stuck being the monster. And like, not that he can't transform, but that if he does, it's trouble for him. And that's the first step on Parker's run. That's where he starts. That's the foot that he starts on, is now you have this military mind who is stuck in the body of, not physically stuck, but he is forcibly stuck being a monster that he's chased for his entire life, or his entire professional life. He hates himself. He cannot be himself anymore. And it was such a good run. But because it's like the secondary run where like the Hulk was off doing all his things with Greg Pak and all that stuff, like Greg Pak returning to the book after Jeff Hulk, and then he's writing this secondary dude that like doesn't get the attention that the main green dude gets. It was really unfortunate, but he was fortunate in that he did get a pretty decent amount of issues in there. Like I think he wrote almost 40 issues worth of material.
That's
all
an
said and
omnibus.
I know.
Yes, Omar.
What?
Be.
Dude, I
David,
don't work for
David.
Marvel. Dude,
Maybe
I have
Jeff
no-
Parker will be
I
passing
have
by
no
David's
power.
desk one day. Jeff
If I
Parker
had
will,
any
and-
power, we'd have a new damn Warriors Omnibus Volume 2.
Yeah, but I know I know that your like email signature, any message you send to David is like, thanks, Omar, we need a new new Warriors
New
Volume
Warriors
2.
Volume 2. No, not every time.
Just like
Just every
30,
once in a while.
3 out of every 4.
Maybe. No, I think to me the Hulk is still, it's weird, right? There are characters that surprise me are still relevant. Like it's
Mhm.
crazy. When you think about TV shows and things like that, what these bigger than life characters have been around for 40, 50, hell, DC 60 years, 70. Oh my god. Yeah, a long time, right? 80. And we're still able to tell new stories with them and still be entertained. That's crazy. Right? Yeah. And I know there's a cycle every 7 years where when you're a comic book reader, you're like, "Oh, I've already read this like 10 years ago or 7 years ago." But that happens, but it's just a new writer's fresh take on a character using some elements of an old story, whether it was borrowed from, books or movies or comics themselves. I think that's wonderful, and I think Hulk is one of those characters that's like that. That we still have, the basic Jekyll and Hyde, and we're still able to tell new, pretty unique stories featuring
Yeah.
this character.
I agree with that.
Like to have, because I know that Stan's ideas when he was, with Jack and Steve and stuff, creating the Marvel Universe was always like creating these flawed heroes, and having a character like the Hulk that's flawed in that he suffers with his own depression and managing his anger.
Mhm.
And that's why he is the Hulk. He got blasted with Gamma, but his cousin is able to control her transformation into the She-Hulk. But because of his own struggles with his anger issues and stuff, which he, is passed down from his father, unfortunately, he turns into a monster. And I think that that's something that drew me in when I made that realization, like when I was reading the comics and I realized that about him. That was something that really drew me in, and that was something that like I didn't realize about myself until after reading Hulk comics. Was like, well, shit, that's what I have too. And
Interesting.
that's like, after that, I'm like, because I didn't put anger management with mental health and that into tying into depression. And then I'm like, shit, now I can really relate to Bruce Banner, because he did. You go into, if you've dealt with anger management, you go into these moments where you can't control your rage. You cannot control what you say. You can't control what you do, or at least you don't feel like you're in control.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens to him. That's what he goes through, is that evolution or de-evolution into this character. And it was not until I was reading Hulk comics and reading and seeing all these different Gamma characters, and I'm like, why is he the only one that really struggles with this? Like, the Red Hulk doesn't do that, She-Hulk doesn't do that, the other She-Hulk doesn't do that, the other She-Hulk doesn't do that, Doc Samson certainly doesn't do that, but he does. So that's, I think, what's really fascinating, the flaw that he has in himself. That turns him into this monster, and that it's something that he tries to work on. And that's part of why I think he has all these different, the stuff that I was mentioning before, the different versions of himself, the different personalities, is because when Banner works on his own mental health, his own shortcomings, it leads toward him having different control over himself and different control over the Hulk. And that's definitely a storyline that we see pop up. I know very strongly in Greg Pak's material, because Greg Pak makes that like forefront in his Totally Awesome Hulk with Cho. And Cho, who doesn't struggle with those same anger management and mental health issues, all of a sudden who's thrust into being a Hulk is dealing with keeping the monster locked away. So that's one of the aspects that I really love about the character.
And you've never read Peter David's Hulk, right?
No.
Then
I've been
you are
waiting
in for a treat.
Thank you. I've been waiting for the whole run to be collected, because knowing myself, I'm going to start reading and I'm not going to want to stop. And if I get to a point where I don't have the issues, I'm going to get pissed.
Anger management.
Exactly. I've learned to manage it by buying single issues on eBay. So there you go, anger management. But yeah, I'd been waiting for all of those epic collections to finally come out.
Mhm.
And now we're like maybe lacking one or two. And so I'm still like, even though I'll be upgrading to the Omnis, I'm still like, I'm going to buy those. And then I'll read all of it in one fell swoop.
I want to say I think we need 3 more to finish out Peter David's run, and then that ends volume 1 of Hulk, and then you can jump straight into that.
Are
John
you
Byrne.
saying also containing Joe Casey's last few issues?
Oh, that's right. He took over the book after. Yeah. They would
Do
put
you
that all
think
into
they
one
would do
epic.
that?
I think that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It would be in an epic. hmm Yeah. So you're in for a treat, man. Peter David. I didn't want to spoil it for anybody that. Well, mainly for Jess, because I know he hates spoilers, even though the damn book is like 40 years old. But whatever.
My fault.
There is a lot of that in Peter David's Hulk, and that's why I mentioned that a couple of specific issues when you're like, oh my god, this is so much deeper than just this dude
Yeah.
fighting Wolverine during Ground Zero. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So I strongly suggest it, and if you want to check it out, get the now the Marvel Visionaries are going to be cheap because everybody's going to be selling them to upgrade to an omnibus. If you want to try them out that way. Hey, we see Facebook users on here.
Yeah, they can go on. There's a little link you can click on in the Facebook stream that you can click on to make your name known. Otherwise, they show up.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, so Facebook users saying it should be 2. Only about 20 to 30 issues left. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's
was
what
the
I was
last one that
thinking.
came out? Was it?
But I
wait,
guess
I wasn't counting Ghosts of the Future, so I had it in a different
I'm guessing if all of the post
48.
if all the post David stuff, like all the Joe Casey and then any sort of, because the epics do really well to collect one shots, miniseries, all that stuff that came around the same time. They could probably do one more at least after Peter David's and wrap up that volume, like you were saying.
Facebook user is Kemi. Hey, Kemi.
Oh, hey, Cammy, what's up?
My buddy.
I like that guy.
Oh, yeah. He's an awesome dude.
So if we need, and then we have some specials and an annual in there. So yeah. And then if we're talking omnibus, it depends on how it's mapped, right? Because, oh my God, you're talking maybe 4 or 5 omnis.
Well, the first Omni
Wow, really?
goes through what? Almost all of volume 5 of the Visionaries?
No, it's like all of 4, I think.
Well, it goes through all of 4, but I think it has a little bit
It
of
has
5.
a little bit of 5. Mhm.
Okay. And there's 8 of those.
Now keep in mind, there's also added material too, like
And then-
extras and things like that.
Yeah. And do you think that they'll go forward with like collecting stuff like The End that Peter David wrote and his his later Hulk stuff.
His later Hulk stuff, like when he came back during Greg Pak's years, like the Fugitive.
When he came back and unwrote all of the Bruce Jones stuff.
The Tempest Fugit, then
Yeah.
that stuff. I don't think that will be in the omnibus. I mean that is way out there because that's such a big gap in between.
Right, because
You
it
have all the
is.
Bruce Jones stuff. Now, of course, you're doing what I do. It's just daydreaming about mapping these books.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
Nerd.
shut up. Go play with your freaking glove.
There's enough supplemental Hulk material by Peter David that came out later that they could do a companion.
Yeah, and if they go, it depends on sales, right?
That would be my wish. But
it depends on sales. If
yeah.
that Peter, like, I'm serious. I think the Peter David Omnibus Volume 1 had enough pre-sales, not even sales day one, because it comes out next week, that it is going to justify a Volume 2. Now, whether that Volume 2 sells and we get a third volume, which would be amazing, I don't know. It'd be great. But maybe they could do what they've done with X-Men and Spider-Man, have oversized hardcovers to put those orphaned issues in. That's maybe wishful thinking on my part, but that would be amazing.
Marvel has, regardless of whether it's whatever the format is, Marvel has done a really solid job of collecting Hulk material.
Considering all the epics, yeah, with the exception. Okay, so I did notice something in 2020. We don't have any Hulk epics in 2020 yet. I mean, none of them have been announced. And, we still have the fourth quarter. And honestly, every solicitations, shameless plug, but I am doing an advanced solicitation tomorrow morning of April. They do add things in there.
Yeah.
Like, I know New Mutants, for example. New Mutants was moved until March instead of, because we were supposed to get a reprint of Volume 1, I think, this January, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And that's been moved to March or April because of the movie. Right when they finally greenlit the movie. So, Green Laser, yes. Marvel's got my list, man, and that's in the top 3. So, of most wanted reprinted. Like, number 1 was the X-Men Jim Lee omnibus. Number 2, I can't remember, but number 3 was Infinity Gauntlet. So, whether they do it or not, I don't know. But so I do share that list with them. The books that are printing the most, like, I take a poll on my Facebook group so they can kind of get an idea of what people want based on that. But yeah, we need more Hulk epics to cover Mantlow's run. The thing about Mantlow and Man's talking is some of that stuff, it's going to be weird when it's reprinted because they've already done it in one trade paperback when he uses ROM. Right, I think they either leave the issue out or they black out the character of Rom. I don't know what they do. I can't remember.
Oh, because of copyright problem?
Right, Rom doesn't belong to. It hasn't belonged to them in forever. Because what was it? It was Kenner, and then Hasbro bought all that, and then Hasbro now has a deal with IDW, so IDW has all that. But it's a very weird thing.
IDW also has some sort of thing with Marvel because don't they publish some Marvel related titles?
Here's the weird thing that I've asked David this before, and he said, I think you're going to have to talk to one of our Marvel lawyers for these questions. But one of the questions I had was, why is it that IDW, a small company, can reprint issues of Transformers that were originally published by Marvel, because now they own Transformers, IDW does, right? But they have Spider-Man in them. That's a character. That's a Marvel character. They have the character of what's her name? Livewire. That is a Marvel created character. It wasn't a toy, right? She's a female robot, but it was a Marvel character. So why is it that they can print that, but you guys can't print like ROM in an issue of West Coast Avengers or Hulk? And he's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, he's like, I've been told no. And he's like, that's probably something to do with Marvel lawyers and things like that. So I would love a complete run of these things, and see, I don't know where the legality is with the Dire Wraiths either, right? Because they were ROM villains. So is that going to affect my Uncanny X-Men? Because I can't have an incomplete Uncanny X-Men. You know, the issues where the Dire Wraith come in and attack the X-Men was at like 190, 194, something like that.
Weren't the Dire Wraiths part of one of the Cosmic runs?
Recently? They may have changed the name, I think.
Well, like recently, as in maybe around the time of the DNA run, or no? Am I thinking of something?
Maybe you're thinking of Duggan's run.
I think
'Cause
I'm
I
just
don't-
thinking of Wraith.
I don't think they were in the Annihilation stuff.
I think I'm just thinking of. Isn't there a character called the Wraith?
Yes, Wraith.
Okay.
Yeah, not the Dire Wraiths, which were that race of alien beings. How did we go in this topic?
You did it.
Yeah, I do this so much. This is why I have to edit the shit out of my videos, or I go for like 30 minutes long. Sorry, I don't even know what we were talking about. What's her name again? Becky what?
Becky Lynch.
My man. Any info on reprints? Not yet. I mean, I know some are coming, and I was given a list of these are probably more likely going to be reprinted, but nothing's been greenlit for the fourth quarter yet. So I do know of some that are coming that I'm excited for, that aren't reprints, that are original Omnis, that I'm like, oh my god, yes, this is going to be amazing. I can't wait to announce it. So I'm very excited for the fourth quarter of 2020.
Dark.
I can't believe I'm thinking that far. Like the fourth quarter, I never used to be like that. Now it's like, oh yeah, I can't wait for that.
Okay, in the 2011 Annihilators miniseries, a team of Skrulls tries to bring back Wraithworld and its population.
Recently realized IST does not sell TKO Studio comics. Do you guys know why that's the case? Because TK Studios distributes its own books, I believe. They handle the whole process and sell directly to the consumer and comic shops on their own. So I don't know specifically why, but I think they like to handle that stuff themselves, selling it themselves.
I think cutting the middleman out. They're a small enough company that they don't need to go that way yet.
Yeah.
They do a phenomenal job though. Leslie Ann sells Incredible. That's gonna be that's gonna be a tough sell, and I'll tell you why. Can you highlight that comment, Jess?
Yeah.
So the issue with this omnibus is that, and I think these guys were collecting omnis back then, that omnibus was liquidated for at least 2 or 3 years. Meaning that you could find it at conventions, you could find it at probably not comic book stores, but places, for like $20, $30. It took them that long to sell out of it. So in order for that book to be reprinted, it would be like, I remember talking to David on the phone the first time, and I was like, oh, you don't understand, man. That Daredevil omnibus, that Annihilation omnibus, that's going to sell if you reprint it now. Now, whether I had any influence on him or not, whether they were going to do it or whatever, I don't know. But I remember, explaining to him how many more of us there are. I sound like a freaking cult. Like there's so many collectors out there, so much more so than 10 years ago, right? So if you reprint it now, you have this whole new group of people that just started collecting like 4 or 5 years ago when that book went out of print. So it'll be a tough sell because, there's other books that people want reprinted that didn't sell that well. Like I think Captain Britain omnibus is going to be a tough sell. Or Daredevil, right? Daredevil, there was never there was never a volume 2 because of the sales of volume 1 of the Silver Age stuff.
That one wasn't quite as old though. That was just a few years back.
Right, but you figured with the seasons of Daredevil that were coming out, or the Iron Fist TV series, why they never reprinted an Iron Fist omnibus? So, my man, thanks. It's coming off tomorrow because my wife and I are flying to the Keys and no more beard.
You're afraid you're going to get hauled off?
With a name like Omar and a beard like this, Shit.
You won't make it. You won't make it security.
Shit, dude. They're gonna be like, hey, we need to do a random check on you. Yeah, random my ass. All I got is 2 OmniBoo with me. I said OmniBoo. Still trying to make that happen.
That-
According to Gabe, 11 O'Clock Comics has been saying that for years, by the way. I don't listen to 11 O'Clock Comics, so I don't know. It's just what David told me what the plural of omnibus was. But
So
anyway.
that's the plural of Marvel Omnibus then. 'Cause
Sure, man.
David has no say on like a Dark Horse Omnibus or a DC Omnibus.
That is true.
So in the DC like offices, they could be
You know-
calling it
These big ass books. That's what they're calling it. These big ass annoying books. Let's reprint Brightest Day.
yeah.
Let's cancel Man of Steel and reprint Brightest Day. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. You know, I have high hopes for DC in 2020. That a lot of the things that have been going bad in 2018 and 2019, I think a lot of it might be maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Do you think they're aware that fans are upset?
I think they have a better understanding now than they ever had.
Okay.
Wasn't
I
there
I absolutely do.
that one gentleman who works in DC that everyone's tweeting now?
That poor guy. Yeah, Hank. He's a good guy. And he's like the counter, like David, like over there. But yeah, I don't know. I can't say rather.
It's sometimes bizarre, like when you see what does get published. Like, you know, like just looking at DC and how many things like Man of Steel by John Byrne Omnibus, literally like by and far the most wanted, like no exaggeration, omnibus from DC after Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, which wound up getting the Absolute Edition after it was canceled like 3 or 4 times. And they cancel that. And I'm not complaining, but we have He-Man and the Master of the Universe omnibus.
You went with that. That omnibus was phenomenal. I was thinking
I'm
more
not
of like
complaining. I'm not
I was
complaining.
thinking more of like Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Okay, that's a good one. Deathstroke by Tony Daniel, but like it's in my eyesight. That's why, like, it's right behind my computer. I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, this is a super awesome book. But like the chances of that getting like not getting canceled, but Man of Steel getting canceled.
I remember doing an advanced solicitation with Jess, like it's probably last year sometime, 6 months ago. And I was looking, and we were looking at like, I don't know, Top Dog, the Top Dog collection from Marvel Comics. And I remember thinking like, we live in a world where Marvel can literally reprint everything they have ever made into a comic.
So we're
But I don't have my Man of Steel Superman yet. Like in an omnibus, right? Like, and I heard there was somebody on my channel that had commented a couple months ago talking about the copyright issues with that. That's why that book is so expensive to get printed. And I kind of believe that. Because when I interviewed Len Wein, if you will, Lane Wayne, the gentleman was nice enough not to correct me. He was talking about how the creation of Wolverine gives him $0 every time that character appeared in a movie, appeared in the TV show, or appeared in. It doesn't matter. 0. That's how much he was owed. However, Lucius Fox appearing in a movie, they sent him a nice check. So there were some copyright things from DC because of the whole Schuster and Schuster, God bless. Yes, thank you. During the Superman, right? The Christopher Reeve Superman movie.
Yeah.
That whole lawsuit. Because of that, DC back then started paying out their creators. And I don't know if it's a percentage, and I don't know if it was like, I don't know how that works. That's all numbers and things that I don't know, and I don't even know if the collective department, I don't know if it's somebody above the collective department going, hell no, you can't reprint that. That's going to put us bankrupt. I don't know if that's what's going on. So
So just the creators involved with that run specifically make that book expensive for
I'm
paying out the
thinking that
creators?
might be the issue, because you think by now we would have had at least reprints of those trade paperbacks. Like, we joke around that DC has no idea what the fans want, right? Like that's our theory. Like they're literally throwing darts at this, or letting their office monkey throw darts at this dartboard with pictures of Golden Age Superman and Golden Age Batman, and like, what are we reprinting next? And then the small little areas of like post-crisis Batman and Superman. So I don't know, man. Or maybe it is something like the big, old Warner Brothers is like, nope, not printing that. AOL, AT&T, whoever owns them.
Well, this seems like a good time for me to make another sponsor announcement. Because I'm talking about, of course, you can get any of these books, some of these books, most of these books, a chunk of these books. Your collected editions at InStockTrades.com, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add 2% to that. There's always an OmniBros Live code every quarter. If you order $50 or more and live in the United States worth of books, $50 or more worth of books, and you live in the United States, you get free shipping, which is amazing because I get these big boxes and it's free shipping when it should be about $30. Fabulous customer service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com.
Well done. Thank you guys for having me. I won't be on Monday because I will be in the Keys, enjoying my time off from life with my wife. So I am going to take some comics though.
Where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on my channel, Graphics, Near Mint Condition. I'll be going live tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time, EDT.
Nice. How about you, Riley Mo?
I don't got a channel. So
You got a Facebook group, fool.
I've gotten.
You have the Facebook group.
I think I've gotten 3 or 4 email updates from a gentleman named Nate from YouTube saying that they're still investigating my case.
What?
And trying to get my channel back. So I'm still waiting. I haven't heard anything. I haven't checked in a little bit, and I don't think that the other Riley has uploaded any videos onto my YouTube channel.
That's awful.
But I've definitely been watching a lot less YouTube because I'm not getting all the notifications and stuff. And I didn't realize how much, like, this is a complete random aside. I really love YouTube's like suggestive algorithm, I guess, of telling me like, you might want to watch this video. Because I fall down so many great rabbit holes of like random things that I'm like, man, I do like that. This is awesome. Like, I do like watching this guy like play anime music on the piano. This is great. So I don't have that anymore, and it's really depressing me. So hopefully one day I get my channel back, and I probably still won't post any videos, but at least I know that it's my own choice. In the meantime, I've been posting a lot more pictures on my Instagram to let people know what I've been reading, and my journey into trying to read as much as humanly possible during the future, since I have thousands of books I need to read now. And then you can find the Facebook group, the Omnibus Collectors Comic Swap and Community, where we all get together and complain about what books DC is not publishing and what needs to be reprinted and how fast which new omnibus are people upset about going out of print this time. I don't remember.
Jess.
So anyway, yeah, Jess.
Where can people find you when you're not looking up pictures of Becky Lynch?
Hey,
Which is what you're currently doing instead of listening to Riley pour his heart out.
After the show. I am a professional. I don't do it during the show. Whoa, that's a good one, Over. You can find me on OmniDog's Vault on YouTube and on Instagram, omnidogs_vault. So thank you to both Riley Moe and the Uncanny Omar for appearing on OmniBros Live tonight, where we talked about all things Hulk. Thank you to InStockTrades.com for sponsoring our show. Thank you to the chat.
Don't forget to hit that like button.
Don't forget to hit
While we're
that
still here.
like button. It does something good. I don't know what, but the more likes you get, the better.
The less chance we have of being hacked.
Oh.
Too soon.
I wasn't making fun, man.
Those damn
I was
Russians,
kind of
man.
trying to get people to hit that like button. Gabe isn't here.
Those damn Russians.
Oh yeah, let's blame that whole country.
No, that was what it said. Like in my email, it said like where the person was. It's like someone's trying to log in. And it was like 3 different countries, and the 4th country it said Russia, and they got in. It was the Russians, man.
Okay, Trump.
I mean, he'd be happy about it. He'd be like, "Ah, yes, my friends in Russia."
Oh, okay, where can people find you? Did you already say that, Jeff?
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I was actually in the process of signing off. Thank you to the chat. The chat was great tonight. Thank you to all of you who are viewing this after the fact. And we will see you on Sunday at noon when we try to find news and interesting things that are going on in the comic book world on OmniBros Live. So thank you. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Good night, everybody.